I'm Janice Fiamengo of the University of Ottawa. We've heard a fair bit lately about how Roosh V is not welcome in various Canadian cities because of his hate speech. Hate speech is one of a number of phrases used by social justice activists to discredit their opponents. Its use illustrates George Orwell's observation that one of the ways a totalitarian movement gains and exercises power is through the perversion of language, in this case through prefabricated phrases. In the case of hate speech, you claim that a statement with which you disagree incites hatred against women or some other protected group, and therefore you justify censorship and even, in Canada, potential legal punishments for the statement. You don't have to prove that it incites hatred. I mean, how would you anyway? You just have to claim that it does. This is the tactic that feminists and their allies are using against pickup artist and neo-masculinist Roosh V, creator of the Return of Kings website and the man who has made a career out of seducing women. Recently, a BC woman launched a petition to try to deny Roosh entry to Canada on the grounds that he is disseminating hatred against women. And 45,000 people to date have signed a follow-up petition to encourage local businesses in Toronto, Montreal, and Mississauga to deny him accommodation. The mayors of all three cities have expressed their righteous outrage at Roosh's hate speech. Personally, I find some of what Roosh has to say about the contemporary hookup scene insightful. Here's how he describes what feminists call rape culture in his blog article, How to Stop Rape. He says, "I saw women wholly unconcerned with their own safety and the character of men they developed intimate relationships with. I saw women who voluntarily numbed themselves with alcohol and other drugs in social settings before letting the direction of the night's wind determine who they would follow into a private room. I saw women who, once feeling awkward, sad, or guilty for a sexual encounter they didn't fully remember, call upon an authority figure to resolve the problem by locking up her previous night's lover in prison or ejecting him from school." Every word there seems to me all too accurate. When Roosh describes in his book, Bang Iceland, walking home with a drunk woman he plans to sleep with, I find the scene both unethical and all too likely. This is what he says. "While walking to my place, I realized how drunk she was. In America, having sex with her would have been rape since she couldn't legally give her consent. It didn't help matters that I was relatively sober, but I can't say I cared or even hesitated." Ouch. Not exactly tender regard for his sexual partner or even a self-respecting assessment of his own higher pleasure. But hate? Nope, not even close, in my opinion. But what I might think of Roosh is actually irrelevant. Maybe he is a hater. Maybe someone reading him will be incited to hate. Maybe someone listening to this video right now will be incited to hate. Obviously, some men are engaged by what Roosh has to say, and a lot of feminists hate what he has to say. One Twitter activist was so full of hate towards Roosh that she or he jokingly suggested setting him on fire. If Roosh V has forced himself on any woman, he should be prosecuted for that. What I hate is the whole idea of hate being a crime, as indeed it is in Canada, depending on who you hate. Let me be clear. The morality of Roosh's ideas and actions are certainly open for discussion, but short of explicit calls for violence, which are properly criminal, objectionable speech should not be a criminal matter at all, in a free society where people are supposed to have the right to debate others in open forums and to counter hateful ideas with their better ideas. Come on, feminists. Do you really want to get into a holier-than-thou contest about hate with all those queens of hate like Andrea Dworkin and Valerie Solanas and Mary Daly, not even in your closets, but actually celebrated as feminist foremothers? Oh, but that's different, right? That's the righteous hatred of the oppressed. Nonsense. Feminist hatred is the Siamese twin of feminist victim ideology. It's about the power to silence those who dissent. When even the conservative mayor of Toronto, shame on you, John Tory, calls for Roosh's event to be cancelled, feminists no longer get to claim being oppressed. You have to own up to your own oppressiveness. In fact, feminism is a hate movement with no moral legitimacy and a great deal more institutional clout than Roosh V. Feminism is responsible for the tears of thousands of fathers unjustly barred from seeing their children, for countless ruined lives of men falsely accused of sexual harassment or rape, and for a culture that tells boys and young men that there is something wrong with them because they're not female. A lot of feminists are big-time haters hiding behind their victimhood claims. But I'm not calling for feminist speech to be outlawed. I'm calling for it to be debated, debunked, countered, ridiculed, rhetorically attacked, logically rebutted, and exposed. And yeah, I hate feminism.